After Wu Xingzuan's introduction, Lin Moyu learned that these people seemed ordinary, but they were all ancestors of major families. Among the 100 people, there were 3 in the other shore realm alone. The rest are also peak gods. Think about it, if you are unlucky, you won't be able to practice to this level. There are many otherworldly and peak gods in the human race, and Saint Hao and the others must have chosen the best among the best, choosing those who have been practicing for a shorter period of time and who usually have more opportunities to come and try. These ancestors are very aware of the importance of luck, and their growth is inseparable from good luck. When they heard that Lin Moyu was a 100-year-old god, everyone was shocked. The most outrageous one is the one who wants to marry hundreds of his granddaughters to Lin Moyu. According to him, all of his hundreds of granddaughters are extremely beautiful and beautiful in the world. His thoughts are terrible. What's terrible is that there are dozens of people who have the same thoughts as him. If Xingzu and Hao hadn't been there, Lin Moyu even doubted whether these ancestor-level figures would have directly escorted him to get married. Lin Moyu stood at the entrance of the Yunwu Tiangong inheritance site at the foot of the mountain, thinking about his experience since his cultivation. Luck seems to be really important. I have turned danger into safety several times, and turned bad luck into good fortune. Not to mention what happened before, this time when I was living outside the territory, I experienced experiences that no one else had. Not only did he not encounter fatal danger, but he also gained many benefits. Lin Moyu thinks that maybe this is the so-called luck, some kind of power area in the dark. Thinking of this, Lin Moyu suddenly stood in awe of this ethereal power. A power that is invisible and intangible is terrifying. It is difficult to find its root cause, its cause cannot be investigated, and it is impossible to prevent it. I don't know what the inheritance of Yunyuan Tiangong will be. While thinking, Lin Moyu entered the entrance. The mist rolled, and there was a faint vibration in the mountains. Wu Xingzuan's eyes fell on the clouds and mist on the mountain, as if he wanted to see clearly what was going on inside. Advertisement. It's a pity that even if he is the Holy Lord, he can't see anything at this moment. I hope it can happen. He talked to himself, his voice a little heavy. Obviously, the inheritance of Yunwu sect is very important. But he was not sure about luck. Lin Moyu passed through a layer of dense fog that made him unable to see his fingers, and a mountain road appeared in front of him. The mountain road is paved with sapphire and looks extremely smooth, winding along the mountain. The mountain road in sight was about 20 meters away, and the distance 20 meters away was shrouded in thick fog, making it impossible to see clearly. Wu Xingzuan did not tell Lin Moyu the specific content of the test, but told him that he would know it when he got inside. Lin Moyu set foot on the Qingyu Mountain Road with doubts. Suddenly, a voice sounded from my ear. The inheritance test begins. Please walk along the Qingyu Road to the top of the mountain. Don't leave Qingyu Road. Leaving will be regarded as failure of the test. If you encounter a dead end, you have 3 opportunities to turn back. If the 3 opportunities are exhausted, the test will fail. That's it? Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment. The rules were really simple. You cannot leave Qingyu Road. There are 3 opportunities to turn back. That is to say, except for these 3 opportunities, you cannot turn back. You will encounter a dead end. Is this test a maze? Lin Moyu suddenly grasped the key points and knew the true form of the test. Lin Moyu didn't start immediately. He was not in a hurry. He didn't pursue time for the test. It didn't matter whether he was faster or slower. A maze-type test, that is to say, I will face countless choices. If you make the right choice, you can move on. If you make the wrong choice, you will be eliminated. But you can try it countless times, which also shows that every choice is different. In other words, this mystery is always changing. Advertisement. If this kind of test could be seen from the outside world, there would be no secrets. That's why it is necessary to cover the entire mountain with mist. Well, it's a very simple rule, but it's also very practical. Lin Moyu already knows that it is useless to remember every choice, because every test is different. All he can do is rely on luck or find differences and find the right path. But the tests left by ancient sects are unlikely to have any differences, and most likely they can only rely on luck. Lin Moyu finally moved, walking on the green jade road and moving forward. Every time you take a step, the green jade road behind you will be shrouded in thick fog, which means there is no way out. The 3 opportunities to return will only appear after the first selection. Giving 3 chances also means that luck has its ups and downs. There are good times and bad times. The choice made during the bad times will naturally not be the right one. Along with thinking, Lin Moyu walked along the 20-meter green jade road. The thick fog in front of me dispersed, and a fork in the road appeared ahead. The forked road was divided into 2, winding up toward both sides, each 20 meters long, and the end was still shrouded in thick fog. Pick one of 2. Lin Moyu now has to choose one of the 2 green jade roads. Sure enough, just as I thought, Yunwu Tiangong used the simplest test method, which is the same as the rules, without any complexity. This test method is purely based on luck. But you don't have to use your brain at all. If a practitioner who is just lucky but has no courage comes along, will this really be useful? Lin Moyu thought in his heart and randomly chose the path on the left. The strength is limited here, but the acuity of the soul remains unchanged. He didn't feel the difference between the 2 roads at all, they were exactly the same. In this case, it doesn't matter which one you choose. As for right or wrong, it all depends on your luck. The rules of the test are extremely simple. No wonder Wu Xingzuan didn't say it. There was no need to say it. After he made his choice, the green jade road behind him still existed and did not disappear like before. If he regrets his choice now, he can go back to the fork in the road and make a new choice. Advertisement. There are a total of 3 opportunities to return. When we came to the end of Qingyu Road again, the thick fog dissipated in front of our eyes, and 2 forked roads, one left and one right, appeared again. At this time, the green jade road behind him disappeared. My choice was correct, and there was no dead end. The opportunity to turn back is only valid for the current choice, and is useless for the previous choice. The 20th meter is a choice, a 10,000-meter mountain, plus walking along the mountain road. The distance to go is far more than 10,000 meters. After nearly 1,000 choices, even if the number of subsequent choices no longer increases, it is always one of 2 choices. My dear, the possibility of this being completely correct is infinitely low. Even with Lin Moyu's brain, he couldn't calculate the success rate of choosing the right one every time. We can only roughly estimate that the success rate has been so low that it is more than 1 in a billion. Li Zhaozhao silently said with thoughtful eyes, if there are more choices in the future, choose 1 from 3, or even choose 1 from 4. If we rely solely on luck, the probability of getting everything right will be infinitely close to 0. Can anyone really pass this test? I don't know when it started, but in the village at the foot of Yunwu Mountain, things were arising and passing away. The ancestors started to barbecue and cook. They are obviously peak gods or even strong men in the other side realm, but here they are living like ordinary people. Their strength was suppressed, but there was still no problem using the storage magic weapon. The magic weapon contains enough ingredients for them to live for thousands of years. While they were cooking delicious food, they were discussing about Lin Moyu. Holy Saint Hao seems to be paying special attention to Xiaoyu Lin. I wonder if Lin Xiaoyu has something to do with Wu Xingzuan. You mean, illegitimate child? Don't talk nonsense about Wu Xingxuan's identity. If he has descendants, there is no need for illegitimate children. It's hard to say, what if? The conversations of the ancestors were all heard by Wu Xingzuan. The corners of his mouth twitched from time to time. Who would have thought that these respected ancestors outside would be so gossipy? Not only gossip, but also talking nonsense seriously. I really don't know how those words were made up. They even made up a complicated story about Lin Moyu's life experience, and each one told it more truthfully than the truth. After listening to it for a long time, Saint Hao finally couldn't help but turned around and whispered, "That's enough for you." His voice was like muffled thunder, exploding in the village, and the village immediately became silent. Several ancestors who were having the most lively discussions shut their mouths one after another. After a few seconds of silence, someone finally spoke without fear of death. "Xingzuan Wu really values him." Yeah, it's gone like this. I don't think this is simple." "Well, it's really not easy." Saint Hao was completely speechless. These old guys are neither fighting nor saints. In the end, he could only choose to keep his ears pure, close his hearing, and not listen to their nonsense. Even the Holy Lord has a lot of helplessness. Lin Moyu made a choice again and again. He walked faster and faster. Every time he didn't need to think, he just chose left. A very single choice, made hundreds of times without exception. But the result was very surprising to Lin Moyu. All his choices were correct. 823. It's not surprising that it's right once, twice, or even 8 times out of 10. But if it is correct hundreds of times, then something is abnormal. This is like a test paper. All the multiple choice questions have the same option. Even the students with the best grades will feel flustered. Lin Moyu is like this now. After making the same choice hundreds of times in a row, and all of them were correct, he had doubts about his previous thinking. Isn't this just a test of luck? Could it be that there are some things mixed into the test that I don't know about? Advertisement. If so, what would it be? But no matter how he thought about it, he couldn't think of other factors. Try it. Lin Moyu planned to test his idea. When choosing at the next intersection, he chose the road on the right. After 20 meters, we soon reached the end. The thick fog dispersed, and 2 forked roads appeared on the left and right. He made the right choice again. Lin Moyu then continued to choose left all the time, and he chose left 10 times in a row, all right again. This probability is not normal. The suspicions are getting heavier and heavier, and I feel more and more that something is wrong. But he couldn't find anything wrong or figure out why. Then he began to choose directions at random, but without exception, they were all correct. BDCD. His speed was already very fast, and he had made 200 selections in less than half a day. 1 choice every 20 meters, 200 choices, and 4,000 meters have been traveled. Based on the fact that the mountain is 10,000 meters high, we are almost a third of the way up the mountain road. When the 201st fork in the road appeared, something finally changed. There were 3 forks in the road in front of me, and it became one of 3 choices. Lin Moyu did not hesitate and directly chose the middle path. It was the right choice again, and there was no dead end. The more this happens, the greater Lin Moyu's doubts become. Your choice cannot be correct every time, but it happens to be correct every time. Why is this happening? Luck, what on earth is it? It's really because I'm lucky enough that I choose the right path every time. It's because I'm lucky enough, so no matter what I choose, the final result will be correct. Suddenly, Lin Moyu stopped. Advertisement. He seemed to have thought of something. Combined with previous experiments, Lin Moyu finally began to understand. It's not that all my choices are correct, but because of my luck, my choices are all correct. Choice is just a process, but the result is already determined. The factor that determines the result is my luck. The Yunwu sect must have a way to test luck, so the test can give results to my choices based on my luck. So, no matter what I choose, it will be good. Relying on his own judgment, Lin Moyu really started to choose. Either left or right or in the middle, no need to think at all, the main theme is random. The results are without exception, no matter which choice you make, there will be no problem. Later, Lin Moyu took the leftmost road every time, and the result was still the same. While Lin Moyu was moving forward quickly, his head was thinking nonstop. The Yunwu sect chooses disciples with good luck, but it is impossible to rely solely on luck. There must be some other tests, otherwise it would be a joke if an idiot with incredible luck passes the test. It is impossible for a strong man from ancient times to do such a mindless thing. Soon, Lin Moyu crossed the road 200 times. At this moment, he has completed 2/3 of the way, tying the current highest score. This achievement was created by a peak god 2,000 years ago. Now the peak god has reached the other side realm. He also came here later, but he never broke his own record again, and couldn't even tie it. The thick fog cleared for the 401st time, and 4 roads appeared in front of Lin Moyu. In the last third, the choice of one of 3 has become one of 4. There is only a 25% success rate every time, and the probability of being correct drops further. But Lin Moyu still didn't think much about it. Just like before, he continued to choose the leftmost path. As he set foot on the Qingyu Road, Lin Moyu suddenly felt an invisible force falling on him. This power is very slight. Even with his soul, he has to be very careful to sense it. Advertisement. If it were anyone else, he wouldn't feel anything at all. There has been a change. It's really not that simple. Lin Moyu thought as he quickly walked the 20-meter road in front of him. The thick fog dispersed as before, and 4 forked roads appeared again, just like before. Lin Moyu still chose the leftmost path, and he felt the same power falling on him again. What the hell is that? This power was so tiny that although it was sensed, Lin Moyu was unable to find it. It's not like a law, it's ethereal, and it doesn't know what role it plays. It should be a power above the supreme realm. The level is too high for me to understand. But at present, there should be no danger, and it is not an offensive calendar area. Lin Moyu continued to make his choice, uniformly choosing the far left and continuing forward. Every choice was correct, and there was no dead end. After making 10 more choices in a row, Lin Moyu discovered that the inexplicable power did not appear every time. Appeared about 8 times out of 10 times. But because there were too few factors to refer to, Lin Moyu still couldn't think of the reason for a while. The next choice is the same as before. That power will appear in most cases and fall on you. Lin Moyu remembers to count, 1 at a time. The choice is correct again and again, and everything seems to be developing for the better. Lin Moyu felt that he was getting closer and closer to the top of the mountain. 150 times left. 27. Lin Moyu is counting in his heart. In 150 more times, he will be able to walk the last section of King Yuzhen, reach the top of the mountain, and enter the cloud and mist heavenly palace. Suddenly, he stopped. He reached the end of the thick fog, and the thick fog in front of him did not dissipate, but a dead-end road appeared. Qingyu Road has reached the end, there is no new fork in the road, and there is a high wall in front of you. Dead end. Lin Moyu stood at the end of Qingyu Road, facing the high wall, lost in thought. Does the appearance of a dead end mean that his luck has come to an end? Now he has taken 450 forks in the road, and he will reach the end in another 150 times. It seems that nothing has changed, he is still him, and his luck is still the same. But something seems to have changed. Otherwise, according to previous guesses, there would be no dead end. Thinking about the changes before and after, all details are taken into consideration, Lin Moyu constantly pursues the accurate answer. When there is a dead end, it's not because of my choices, but because of luck. As long as you are lucky enough, it doesn't matter which way you choose. But my luck has not changed, so the problem is not with me, but with that mysterious power. After 50 choices, the mysterious power appeared a total of 40 times. Every time it appears, it should be accumulated again and again, gradually increasing, and finally causing an impact. It should be my luck that is affected. This mysterious force affects my luck. That should be the case. Yunwu sect has a way to measure luck, and can decide to make a wish based on the strength of luck. Why? But they can't just rely on luck to choose the successor. There must be other factors, if I'm not wrong. The corners of Lin Moyu's mouth raised a slight arc, and his eyes were as bright as stars. If you guessed correctly, the last 200 choices require observation and thinking. We must choose the right path as much as possible from the 4 paths. In this way, the influence of mysterious forces can be reduced, thus ensuring the accuracy of the results. Yes, that's it. Lin Moyu clapped his hands suddenly, and he finally understood it completely. He believed that his choice was basically correct, but out of caution, he still needed to verify it. Lin Moyu began to retreat, using his right to turn back 3 times. He retreated 20 meters and came to a fork in the road where he could choose one of the 4. Advertisement. While retreating, Lin Moyu keenly felt that a trace of mysterious power left him. At the same time, after he retreated to the fork in the road, the leftmost road disappeared, and the choice changed from one of 4 to 3. It seems that this mysterious force really affected me. My luck has not changed, but has been suppressed by this mysterious force. Lin Moyu had some realization in his mind, and the first step of verification confirmed his guess again. Lin Moyu carefully sensed the departing mysterious power and measured it. He had received a total of 40 mysterious powers before, but now about 10 have left. According to this calculation, in the next 10 choices, regardless of whether he is right or wrong, the result will be correct. Second verification. Lin Moyu thought in his mind and made his choice again. He had always chosen the leftmost path before, but after exiting this time, he still chose the leftmost path. The original road has disappeared, and the far left now is the second from the left before. In fact, it doesn't matter which path you choose, it's the same no matter which path you choose. Soon after reaching the end of Qingyu Road, the thick fog dispersed, and 4 forked roads reappeared. It was another choice of 4, and this time Lin Moyu did not feel the mysterious power. Then Lin Moyu continued to choose the leftmost path, again and again, while sensing the power. Once. Twice. 10 times. After making 13 choices in a row, I didn't meet the Divine Emperor once. After accumulating to 10 times again, Lin Moyu murmured to himself, this time, we should have encountered a dead end. He made a quick choice and soon reached the end, where he saw a high wall. There is no way forward, and a dead end appears again. Lin Moyu's eyes showed joy. He knew that his guess was correct. It was indeed that power that affected his luck and thus the result. Lin Moyu began to return for the second time, shaking his soul at the same time, carefully sensing all changes in the real outside world. Advertisement. As he returned, the mysterious power had left his body again. However, this time the leaving power is relatively small, only 5 copies. After returning to the fork in the road, Lin Moyu whispered to himself, it's half less than last time. Every time we turn back, the number of attempts we can make again will decrease. There are fewer and fewer opportunities, Lin Moyu continues to verify. Sure enough, after 7 choices, he encountered a dead end again. Turning back for the 3rd time, this time only 2 mysterious powers left. Lin Moyu verified it for the 3rd time. After the first 2 times, he basically understood what was going on. After several consecutive choices, he encountered a dead end again. This time he had no chance to turn back, the green jade road behind him had disappeared. His ordeal reaches its end and is over. But in the last test, there were some changes. In front of the stone wall, there is a pearl suspended. Please give me flowers. It looks like a pearl that is full of flaws and not very beautiful. Is this the inheritance of fragments? Lin Moyu heard from the seniors in the village that if the test fails, some rewards will be given based on the results of the test. In their eyes, it is a kind of encouragement to continue working hard and achieve better results next time. But Lin Moyu doesn't think so. Luck can be increased with encouragement. Luck is not about cultivation. In most cases, luck is destined to be good. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work. Lin Moyu believed that it was impossible for the Yunwu sect to do such a boring thing. So what are these rewards? According to people who came to test before, Lin Moyu probably got the answer. Advertisement. It's not an encouragement, but a trap. If you get a reward, the difficulty of the next test may increase. So, after those who were able to pass the test before received the reward, their subsequent test scores will often be worse than before. Lin Moyu got his own answer through a lot of information. He did not take away the pearl, but took a step sideways and left Qingyu Road. An irresistible force fell on him and blasted him out. Beyond the mountains, clouds and mist suddenly rolled violently. Hey, the test is over. It's a pity that I couldn't reach the top. Haha, you can see human meteorites again. Come on, let's bet on how long Lin Moyu will be cutting in the fields. I guess for at least an hour. I bet 100,000 calendars of faith. I'm so petty, I'll bet 200,000 on the power of faith that he'll be cutting in the fields for at least 2 hours. For a time, the betting was extremely hot. In their experience, Lin Moyu would soon fly out of the mountains and then fall to the ground with his head down and his feet up. It is not until the control of the body is restored that one can come out from the ground. Someone else shouted at Xingzuan Wu, you can't help this kid. Wu Xingzuan closed his hearing and didn't hear anything at all. But looking at the expressions of these old guys, they knew what was going on. This is not the first time this has happened, he has experience. There was a slight disappointment in his eyes. Can't Lin Moyu do it too? Is it true that no one can obtain this inheritance? Under his gaze, Lin Moyu flew out of the thick fog. Wu Xingzuan looked at the shameless old guys and whispered, I bet you that Lin Moyu won't fall to the ground. Each of you bet 1 million shares of the power of faith. If I lose one, I will lose two. Do you want to bet? Wu Xingzuan suddenly spoke, making these old guys even more excited. Why don't you pay for your bet? If I can defeat the Holy Lord once, I will gain face when I go out. Holy Lord, don't regret it. And Holy Lord, you can't leave the country. Wu Xingzuan chuckled and said, just don't regret it, I won't take action. As he spoke, he looked at Lin Moyu who had just flown out, and said lightly, boy, look good. The power of faith is abundant in the Holy Lord. He simply didn't like these old guys who made fun of himself before. And he believed in Lin Moyu. When Lin Moyu first flew out, his face was too calm and there was no panic at all. And 130 seemed to have an inexplicable color in his eyes, which was touching. So on a whim, he made this bet. As the Holy Lord, he is not afraid of these old guys defaulting on their debts. No one dares to default on the Holy Lord's debts. Lin Moyu felt an overwhelming force rush into his body, causing him to lose control of his body. He first flew high into the sky, and then fell sharply like a meteor. The final result must be that the head falls to the ground and a big hole is made on the ground. That look must be very embarrassing. Advertisement. It turns out that this is what Wu Xingzuan said about the embarrassment. Lin Moyu vaguely saw the situation on the ground. The ancestors seemed very excited and were pointing at him. Are you trying to see a joke? Lin Moyu shouted softly, and his whole body erupted with purple-gold light. The purple-gold body explodes with all its strength, the light flows, and the external force area is dispersed. At the same time, only the law of immortality explodes in the body. The law of immortality cooperates with the purple-gold body. The power of death destroys external forces, and the power of life provides vitality to the body. Almost in the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu gained control of his physical body. The fully exploded purple-gold body brings great power to Lin Moyu, allowing him to fly in the air. Even if the laws are restricted, as long as the physical strength reaches a certain level, you can still fly freely. Lin Moyu slowly fell from the air, looked at the shocked people, and smiled slightly. Seniors, what's wrong with you? The astonished ancestors all reacted one by one and said in succession, it's okay, it's okay. Just looking at their faces, they didn't look like they were fine. All of them had grimaces on their faces and seemed very sad. Saint Howd laughed and walked over. They lost the bet, and they are all feeling heartbroken. Hurry up and hand over the bet, don't let me do it. Facing the Holy Lord, how could they dare to default on their debts? The ancestors said with bitter faces, the Holy Lord is worthy of being a Holy Lord. I will never bet with you again. Saint Hao smiled and said, "If you dare to tease me behind my back again, let's see how I can fix you." Several ancestors smiled apologetically and kept saying they didn't dare. They took out the faith cards one by one and handed them to Saint Hao. Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment. "Isn't the faith card unique to the Bai family?" Saint Hao said, "It is indeed unique to the Bai family. However, the Bai family has long handed over the method of creating faith cards to the Human Emperor Network. As long as you reach the peak of the gods, you can redeem them with a certain amount of merit from the Divine City. These old guys have all redeemed themselves. They are usually willing to make some faith cards to reward the younger generations of the clan. A faith card contains 100,000 copies of the power of faith, and every bet between Hao Xingzuan and them is as high as 1 million copies of the power of faith." Advertisement. A total of 30 people participated in the bet, and Wu Xingzuan made 30 million copies of the power of faith in one fell swoop. It's not a small amount of money. It has exceeded Lin Moyu's entire net worth. Wu Xingzuan directly gave all 300 faith cards to Lin Moyu. "Take it." Lin Moyu said, "This is too precious." Wu Xingzuan shook his head. "It's not valuable. With your contribution, it's nothing." Lin Moyu didn't hesitate too much and accepted it happily. "Follow me." Wu Xingzuan left the village with Lin Moyu. Before leaving, he warned these old guys with his eyes to be honest. The ancestors had sad faces, and the power of 1 million beliefs was not a small amount for them. Returning to the entrance of Yunwu Mountain, Wu Xingzuan asked in a low voice, "How is it? What's the gain?" Lin Moyu said, "How do you know I have gained something?" Wu Xingzuan said, "I am a saint after all. Do you think it is so easy to hide some things?" Lin Moyu immediately flattered him. "The Holy Lord's eyes are indeed as bright as fire. Stop flattering and speak up." Lin Moyu said with a smile, "It is true that there is some gain, but it still needs to be verified." He stated his guesses and thoughts. Saint Hao frowned and said, "What you mean is that the first 00 choices are simply a test of luck. As long as you are lucky, you can choose whatever you want." After 400 times, mysterious forces began to intervene, and we needed to find another way. Lin Moyu nodded. "That's how I feel, but I haven't thought of a way yet, so I still want to go in." Wu Xingzuan said, "You didn't take the fragmented inheritance. You think it is not a reward, but a trap. It seems that there is indeed such a possibility. People who have taken the fragmented inheritance before have not achieved satisfactory results in the future. We thought it was because our luck had run out, but we didn't expect it to be such a bad thing." Lin Moyu said, "Although I don't have a reward, I can imagine that if I take the inheritance fragment, the mysterious power may be permanently solidified." Advertisement. And when I came out just now, those mysterious powers had dissipated. Wu Xingzuan hummed, "Then go in and try again. I hope you can gain more." Lin Moyu was about to go in again when he suddenly turned around and asked, "Holy Lord, is this inheritance very important?" Wu Xingzuan said, "It is important to say it is important, and it is not important to say it is not important. We have a plan, and it will be better if we have this inheritance." Understood. Lin Moyu entered Yunwu Mountain again. Since Wu Xingzuan said so, it is obviously useful. In this case, he should do his best. The ancestors in the village were curious as they watched Lin Moyu enter Yunwu Mountain again. Why did he go in again? It's too urgent. I've just come out and all my luck has been used up. If I go in again, my grades will be very poor. It's really strange. Wu Xingzuan should know. Why didn't 5.2 stop him? They have all been here before and know that if they return immediately after being kicked out, their results will be very bad. You need to go in after a while, the tour will be better. They explained that they had run out of luck and needed time to recover. After Lin Moyu entered, Wu Xingzuan returned to the village and said to everyone, "Those who have obtained the fragment inheritance, come here." There are more than 50 people in the village, and more than half of them have received fragment inheritance. Saint Hao called them over and asked them carefully about their changes after receiving the fragment inheritance. He found that it basically matched what Lin Moyu said. The subsequent results of these people failed to exceed their best results. The best of them is just close to your own best result. Saint Hao didn't explain anything. After asking them, he asked them to leave. He looked at Yunwu Mountain again and said in a low voice, "I hope I can gain something this time." In the high mountains, Lin Moyu felt more powerful suppression than the outside world. The ubiquitous fog has become a shackles, and even if his physical strength is strong enough, he cannot fly in the mountains and forests. Lin Moyu stretched his speed to the limit, almost racing along the Qingyu Road. Every time he came to a fork in the road, he made a choice without hesitation, choosing the path on the far left. Again and again, 400 times in a row, it's the same. The result once again verified Lin Moyu's guess. No matter what he chose the first 400 times, it was correct. It is his luck that determines the final result. Choice is not important, what is important is luck. After 400 times, in addition to luck, some other judgments need to be added. If you make the wrong choice after 400 times, your luck will be suppressed by mysterious power until your luck is exhausted and there will be a dead end. Lin Moyu knows exactly what he wants to do. He wants to find the right path, find the difference between wrong and right, after 400 choices. The Yunwu sect's selection of successors will not only depend on luck, but also on the ability to analyze and judge. Of course, luck is still important. If you're unlucky, you won't even be able to pass the first 400 choices, let alone the later ones. Just an hour later, Lin Shiyu stood at the 401st fork in the road, with 4 different roads in front of him. The 4 green jade roads look exactly the same. Except for some differences in the green grass on the roadside, there is no difference. Lin Moyu has noticed these green grasses before. Each road is different and cannot form a characteristic. Lin Moyu feels that the change of the grassland does not determine the choice. What is the new test added by Yunwu sect? Lin Moyu fell into deep thought and tried to think about the problem from the perspective of Yunwu sect. A powerful sect that pays attention to luck will have what requirements it will have for its disciples when it comes to inheritance. Advertisement. Luck is one thing, and what should it be on the other hand? Character, understanding, thinking ability, responsibility. It seems possible that some things cannot be reflected in tests, such as character, which is difficult to see before encountering major events. Then the biggest possibility is understanding, and understanding is closely related to intelligence, sensitivity, talent, and other conditions. If it is a test of understanding, how can we achieve enlightenment? Lin Moyu looked at the thick fog dozens of meters away. The thick fog was not static, but was rolling slowly, like clouds in the sky. Clouds rise and fall, unpredictable. Lin Moyu thought of the name of Yunwu sect, and a light flashed in his eyes. Yunwu sect. Yunwu does not necessarily refer to clouds and fog, it may refer to luck. Luck is like a cloud, elusive, with ups and downs. The same person has different luck at different times. Sometimes he is very lucky, and sometimes he is unlucky. So, the original meaning of Yunwu sect is luck, then these 4 paths. Lin Moyu looked at the 4 green jade roads and the clouds above the 4 stomach pressure roads. He watched the clouds and mist change continuously, and gradually, Lin Moyu's mouth showed a confident smile. I understand, that's what it is. The clouds and mist are always changing, which means that the 4 green jade roads are also always changing. No sapphire road is completely correct. Whether it is right or wrong depends on the changes in the clouds and mist when you step onto the sapphire road. Among the 4 green jade roads, at the same time, one of them always has more clouds and mist, while the other 3 are relatively sparse. Then the road with more clouds and fog is the correct road at this moment. Based on his own judgment, Lin Moyu chose a road with more clouds and fog and rushed over quickly. The 20-meter Qingyu Road and 20 steps were completed quickly by Lin Moyu. No mysterious power came. After reaching the end, the thick fog dispersed and 4 new roads appeared again. Advertisement. Lin Moyu observed the changes in the fog and then found the right path. This time it's second from the left. He muttered something silently in his mind and rushed over quickly. The fog is changing all the time. The fog on the second left is a little thicker now, but it won't be after a while. So even if you choose the right path, accidents may happen before you start. Moreover, the time when the fog changes is not certain. It may be very fast or it may be very slow. Maybe when you are halfway through, the fog concentration changes, right becomes wrong, and the mysterious power comes directly. This all depends on luck. All Lin Moyu can do is to minimize the time he spends on Qingyu Road. After all, Yunwu sect has never given up on testing luck, it just changed its form. Sometimes, the fog covering the 4 green jade roads is very similar, with the difference not exceeding 1%. It is difficult for ordinary people to feel this 1% difference, but this still does not trouble Lin Moyu. With his soul sensitivity, he can feel even 1,000th of a difference. The next road became smoother, and so did Lin Moyu. As long as he mastered the rules, it would be no difficulty for him. Another 100 times the fork in the road ended, Lin Moyu stopped at the fork in the road again. He faced the 501st choice, and there were still the last 100 forks in the road. The situation in front of him changed again. There were still 4 sapphire roads, and there was still some fog, but the feeling for Lin Moyu was different. Lin Moyu felt that there seemed to be something more on Qingyu Road, like there was an inexplicable force. Are the last 100 times the real test? Lin Moyu murmured to himself and did not act immediately. He had to observe clearly before taking action. This test did not seek time, and he did not need to be anxious. Advertisement. The first 400 times can be passed purely by luck. The 401st to 500th times, as long as you can understand the changes in the fog, you can pass smoothly. Starting the 501st time, apart from luck and understanding, what else will be tested? The changes on Qingyu Road seem a bit familiar, as if I have seen them somewhere. Lin Moyu was thinking in his heart. The long-lasting memory of 587 was brought back from the bottom of his heart, and a sense of familiarity gradually came to his heart. Small world, God's chosen secret realm, divine power. Lin Moyu suddenly felt that the green jade road in front of him gave him the same feeling as the road in the secret realm of the small world. The God's chosen secret realm is aimed at the spiritual world. Looking at the current state, it is actually aimed at the soul. The green jade road in front of you should also be a test of the soul. First it was luck, then it was added to understanding, and now it is a test of the soul. In the large sects in ancient times, the tests were not clearly stated, and you need to understand them yourself. The test is not easy. Luck, talent, and strength are all indispensable. Lin Moyu finally understood that the final journey to Qingyu not only tested luck and understanding, but also tested his face and soul. I don't know what the soul requirements are and whether my soul is qualified. Taking a deep breath, Lin Moyu chose the right path and stepped into it. Boom! A powerful force bombarded the soul world. The soul world was shaken violently, causing Lin Moyu to pause and then return to normal. Lin Moyu rushed across Qingyu Road as fast as possible and reached the end before the garden energy changed. 4 new green jade roads appeared in front of him again, and Lin Moyu stood motionless. The soul impact equivalent to that of a high-level god is still within the range of endurance. It seems that when Yunwu sect selects successor disciples, the minimum standard is high-level gods. Lin Moyu gradually understood the Yunwu sect, which was a very strange sect. When they recruit disciples, the first thing they value is not talent, but luck. Only those who are lucky enough are eligible to join the sect. Then, in addition to luck, you also need to have decent understanding and good soul strength. The latter two are actually not difficult, and there are even some natural and earthly treasures that can enhance your understanding and strengthen your soul. Lin Moyu believes that in ancient times, the world was extremely rich in resources, and such treasures were not uncommon. But luck is naturally determined. Although there will be ups and downs, the upper limit is basically set there. So the most important thing is luck, everything else is a bonus. As long as you are lucky enough, even if you don't get the best inheritance, you will always gain something. Lin Moyu made choices again and again, enduring the impact on his soul. As he got closer and closer to the end, the degree of soul impact also increased. Fortunately, the improvement was not much, and it did not exceed the high-level god. This also further verified Lin Moyu's guess that the soul was just a bonus. If in ancient times, the supreme Yunyuan sect who controlled the inheritance was still alive, perhaps all those who can complete the 501st selection are eligible to accept the inheritance of the Yunwu sect. It's a pity that the supreme being is gone now, leaving only the rules. The rules will not change. If you don't go to the end, you can't get the inheritance. Finally, after walking the 600th Qingyu Road, Lin Moyu truly set foot on the top of the mountain. The thick fog in front of me dispersed, and a huge palace appeared in sight. The huge palace exudes a vast atmosphere, which is the atmosphere of time. Waves of majestic aura rose from the palace, as if there were countless powerful people in the palace. When looking at it, Lin Moyu seemed to be able to feel the power of ancient times. Thick fog turned into clouds and drifted on top of the palace, with a pagoda behind it. Advertisement. Lin Moyu felt tremendous pressure from the clouds, which also meant that he could not reach the pagoda from the top of the palace. Congratulations on passing the road of inheritance. Please enter the Yunwu Palace and accept the baptism of inheritance. A reminder rang in Lin Moyu's ears, exactly the same as when he stepped into Yunwu Mountain. After carefully admiring the Yunwu Palace, Lin Moyu strode in. In the village at the foot of the mountain, someone suddenly exclaimed. He pointed to the top of the mountain and looked shocked. Look, there are people on the mountain. These ancestors raised their heads one after another and looked towards the top of the mountain. Above the clouds and mist, they did see a person appear there. Because the distance was too far and there was fog, it was impossible to see clearly. But based on his body shape and clothing, they determined that the person on the top of the mountain was Lin Moyu. Good boy, he really went up. Holy Lord, how he did it is unbelievable. Are we all wrong? Even if you are eliminated, you don't need to wait, you can enter immediately. I don't think so. With so many of us trying so many times, we shouldn't go wrong. Then how did he get up there? I don't know. I can only wait until he comes back and ask. Saint Hao also saw Lin Moyu. He clenched his fists and said, well done. It could be seen that there was excitement in his eyes. Lin Moyu entered the cloud and mist hall, and there were also clouds and mist floating in the hall. Entering it, it was like entering a dreamland. The Yunwu sect, as its name suggests, is full of cloud disturbances. At the same time, the clouds and mist are erratic, which also represents the uncertainty of luck. Clouds and mist came up and swirled around Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu looked puzzled. Is this the inheritance wash? He didn't feel any changes. The so-called inheritance baptism must have some changes. Advertisement. You were right even once? A clear voice sounded in the hall with surprise and disbelief. Anyone? Lin Moyu looked around and saw that the clouds and mist shrank sharply in the air in front of him, forming a thick white cloud. Above the white clouds, a girl who looked about 18 or 19 years old was sitting lazily. It's a weapon spirit. Lin Moyu saw at a glance that the other party was not a living being, but a weapon spirit. As for whether it is the weapon spirit of Yunwu Palace or another weapon spirit, it is unknown. The girl rubbed her eyes, then glared at Lin Moyu. Hey, I'm asking you something, why don't you speak? Lin Moyu said, I am absolutely right every time. The girl opened her big eyes and looked Lin Moyu up and down. You don't look very smart, how could you be right at all? Can it be said that you are so lucky that you can choose the right one every time? Lin Moyu didn't speak. From the girl's words, he could probably tell that the girl didn't actually know the specific circumstances of the test in Yunwu Mountain. Maybe she was just in charge of this hall and a result. The girl suddenly waved her hand again and said, "Just think you are lucky. According to the regulations, you are qualified to become a true disciple and enter the Inheritance Tower. But be warned in advance, there is some danger in entering the Heritage Tower. You may be locked in and unable to get out. And there are many inheritances in the Inheritance Tower, and the probability of you getting the best inheritance is less than half. And the probability of you being locked inside may be more than 70%. If you don't want to go in, you can also accept the inheritance here. I can choose a better inheritance for you, which may not be worse than the one in the Inheritance Tower. You make your choice after thinking about it." Lin Moyu felt that the girl didn't tell the truth. She didn't seem to want to enter the Inheritance Tower to obtain the inheritance. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and showed a trace of hesitation. "Senior, is the Heritage Tower really so dangerous?" The girl coughed and seemed a little displeased. "Do you think I will lie to you? The Inheritance Tower is so dangerous. If 10 people enter, only 1 or 2 will get a good inheritance. Most people are locked inside, don't even think of it for hundreds or thousands of years. So I advise you to just pick an inheritance here." Advertisement. "I think your qualifications are mediocre, your level is only at the level of a god, and your strength is pitifully weak. It's just a matter of good luck. It's already amazing to be here. I advise you not to take risks by entering the Inheritance Tower. I can help you choose the best inheritance in the Yunwu Palace, and it will not be worse than the one in the Inheritance Tower." Although she pretended that she was doing it all for Lin Moyu still picked up on the clues. She really didn't want to enter the Inheritance Tower. But the two of them have never met each other, so why is this happening? What is the purpose of this Miss Qi Ling? There is too little information currently known, and Lin Moyu cannot make a judgment yet. Lin Moyu thought for a while and decided to chat with her again. Maybe he could get more useful information. He spoke slowly. "Senior, how many people are there? But no one is here anymore." The girl frowned. "It's been many years." She's not sure either. Lin Moyu thought of a possibility. He continued to ask, "Senior, what happened to those people who were locked up in the Inheritance Tower?" The girl snorted. "It's not that good, just lock it up for hundreds or thousands of years and then leave." "Then what were they doing when they were imprisoned?" "What you can do is lock it up." "Is it so difficult to pass on the inheritance in the tower?" "Of course it's difficult. The harder it is, the stronger it is." Lin Moyu got another key information from the girl. Although the Inheritance Tower can imprison people, it will not kill them. After being imprisoned for hundreds or thousands of years, they can eventually leave. This is inconsistent with what the girl said before about the danger in the Inheritance Tower. Lin Moyu asked some more irrelevant questions and got the answers from the girl. The girl seemed to answer all questions. Lin Moyu guessed that there should be some restrictions that stipulated that the girl must answer. Lin Moyu got a lot of information from the girl's answers and also found some contradictions in the girl's words. These contradictions basically expressed the girl's unwillingness to enter the Inheritance Tower on her own. "Having made a decision in my heart, I must enter the Heritage Tower. Even if there was danger inside, he would go in and try. What's more, there is no danger inside, and at most they will only be locked up for a period of time." Lin Moyu has confidence in himself. He believes that even if he is locked up inside, it will not last long. The girl finally got tired of the questions and frowned. "You are asking all kinds of questions. Have you made your choice?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Senior, may I ask your surname?" The girl said, "You can call me Master Shi." "Have you made your choice yet?" Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. "Master Wu, you should have been sleeping before I arrived." The girl's expression changed and she blurted out, "How do you know?" After saying that, she realized that she had said the wrong thing and changed her words. "I just like to sleep. Why do you ask?" Lin Moyu said, "It seems that Mr. Wu has been sleeping for a long time and no longer knows what the 303 world outside has become." Master Wu was stunned for a moment. "What is the outside world?" Lin Moyu said, "Master Wu should be able to feel that the supreme leader of Yunwu sect is missing." Master Wu finally reacted, as if he had finally woken up after a long nap. "What's going on in the outside world?" Lin Moyu said, "Do you know how long you slept this time?" Master Wu's eyes showed confusion. Although he did not answer, Lin Moyu already knew the answer. Advertisement. He knew that the Master Wu in front of him had no idea how long he had been sleeping, nor what was happening outside. It should be said that if she did not appear here, she would continue to sleep. Thinking about it this way, this weapon spirit seems a bit pitiful. Lin Moyu asked, "Master Wu, are you the weapon spirit of the Heritage Tower and Yunwu Palace?" Master Wu was furious and screamed, "How do you know?" At this time, she realized that she had let slip, "Whether I am a weapon spirit or not is none of your business." Lin Moyu smiled slightly, "I guess if I enter the Inheritance Tower and get the highest inheritance, I will become your master. You don't want anyone else to take care of you, so you don't want me to enter the Inheritance Tower. I'm right." Master Wu stopped talking, his expression extremely complicated. Lin Moyu knew he was right. Actually, it's nothing. It's human nature, and the same goes for weapon spirits. Master Wu looked at Lin Moyu blankly, and then snorted, "What do you know? You are not an evil spirit." Lin Moyu said, "Although I am not a weapon spirit, I have dealt with weapon spirits, so I understand." "No wonder you can tell. It turns out you knew it all the time." Master Wu suddenly realized that Lin Moyu had been lying to him before. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Master Wu, I choose to enter the Inheritance Tower. Please help me open the door." Due to the rules, Master Wu had to comply with Lin Moyu's request. She snorted, and the thick fog rolled in the cloud and mist palace, forming a road leading directly to the top of the palace. On the top of the palace is the Inheritance Tower. Lin Moyu raised his feet and was about to go up. Master Wu said urgently, "You haven't told me what happened outside." Lin Moyu smiled casually, "Don't worry, I will tell you slowly when I successfully obtain the inheritance. And I will tell you a secret." As he said this, he walked up step by step. Master Shi could only watch helplessly, unable to stop him. Advertisement. She is a weapon spirit and has many limitations. This is the inheritance place of Yunwu sect, and it is also the world of rules of a strong man. In this kind of environment, her former master would not be able to give her too much authority. Instead, there would be many restrictions. The most she can do is assist, doing what she can. Lin Moyu can guess that she must have been very busy. There should be a lot of people in Yunwu sect. The more people come here, the busier she will be. But when everyone was gone, she fell into a deep sleep. After waking up, she didn't know what happened or how much time had passed. All she has is the memory of the past, so she doesn't want to be so busy anymore and wants a little freedom. It's a pity that she will not be free. She didn't know if Lin Moyu chose the inheritance in Yunwu Palace and then left. She would fall asleep again in an instant. Compared with those weapon spirits I have seen before, the Master Wu in front of me is a bit pitiful. It's a tragedy not to be able to control your own life, and that's what happened to her. Lin Moyu entered the Inheritance Tower on the cloud and mist stairs. The picture in front of him changed. There was an independent space in the Inheritance Tower, which was completely different from the outside world. Here, Lin Moyu felt a strange aura, which seemed to be the law, but seemed to be higher than the law. At this time, Master Yuan appeared in sight again. Master Wu changed his previous attitude and said with helplessness, "Okay, now that you have come in, let's start the inheritance assessment according to the rules. I will tell you the specific rules of inheritance, but you also promised me that you will tell me what happened outside and the secret you told me." Lin Moyu said, "Don't worry, Mr. Wu, I will definitely tell you what happened outside and the secret." Tell herself the assessment rules, this is what she must do. Advertisement. But she could definitely do something trick here. such as saying a word or two less. Sometimes a single word difference can change the meaning of the entire sentence, causing some big trouble. The weapon spirit is limited by rules, but rules cannot restrict it in all aspects. Qi Ling is spiritual, capable of self-thinking, and has independent consciousness. Master Wu said seriously, the inheritance tower has 10 floors in total. The 10th floor is where the supreme inheritance is, and the assessment is concentrated on the first 9 floors. Every 3 times is a stage, divided into upper, middle, and lower stages. It is not only an assessment, but also a rating for the successors of the sect. The first 3 floors are ordinary successors, the middle 3 floors are core successors, and the upper 3 floors are great successors. If you can surpass the 9th level, you can surpass the successors of the Great Tao and obtain the supreme inheritance. At the same time, you can also become the master of the inheritance tower. Having said this, Master Wu paused for a moment and then talked about the specific rules of the assessment. The first stage is the assessment of the lower 3 levels. There is a spell in the lower 3 levels. What you have to do is to understand this spell. After preliminary understanding, you can enter the 2nd level. When you understand to a small degree, you can enter the 3rd level. When you understand it to great extent, you can enter the 4th level. As for the assessment rules of the 4th level, we can continue after you enter. The following is a reminder. Please listen carefully. Lin Moyu listened carefully and didn't miss a single Japanese word. Although this technique is the basic technique of the Yunwu sect, you cannot underestimate it. Many of the Yunwu sect's techniques are based on it. When you understand, there can be no gaps, and don't rush for success, otherwise you won't be able to pass the next assessment. Also, understanding this technique consumes a lot of soul power, so you must be mentally prepared. The magic is in the mist, you go and understand it. In the center of the inheritance tower, a cloud of mist floats. Everything in the Yunwu sect is related to the clouds, and even the inheritance is based on the clouds. Lin Moyu used his soul to communicate with the fog, and the fog suddenly came in without any soul power. A mist also appeared in the soul world, and the mist kept rolling, transmitting a large amount of information. Lin Moyu knew that he needed to understand this magic and then turn it into a magic planet. As long as the mist can be transformed into a spell planet, it means that one has mastered the spell, at least reaching the entry level. Is this kind of inheritance meaningful? Lin Moyu had doubts in his heart. Magic planets are formed the day after tomorrow, just like the soul-splitting method Antares taught him, and they can never become magic stars. If you cannot become a magic star, your power will be very limited, and your improvement in strength will be relatively limited. But since the Yunwu sect does this, it must have a deep meaning. Lin Moyu still doesn't understand many things in ancient times. There seems to be some difference between the strong men at that time and the strong men today. Now that he has arrived here, he has only one way to go, to understand the magic. If you can't understand it, you will be locked up here, ranging from decades to hundreds of years to thousands of years. Lin Moyu is confident in his own understanding and is working hard to digest the information conveyed. Soon he knew the name of the technique, luck detection technique. The function of fortune finding is to detect the luck of all things. But it's not completely accurate and can only be roughly approximated. The key thing is not the technique, but the concept of Yunwu sect. Cloud members have completely different views on the entire world. After Lin Moyu absorbed the concepts of Yunwu sect, he was stunned on the spot. Advertisement. If there is luck in living beings, he can understand it. But everything has luck, which is a bit beyond his imagination. In the philosophy of Yunwu sect, everything in the world has luck. Even a stone has good or bad luck. With good luck, the stone may exist for thousands of years, or even for a long time. But if you are unlucky, you may be smashed into ashes in the next second. This is true of everything. When you have bad luck, you will be unlucky and even die. It's so mysterious. Lin Moyu felt very uncomfortable. He has seen a lot of bizarre things since he started practicing, but no matter what happens, he can find the root cause and know the reason. But the philosophy of Yunwu sect broke his point of view. In the Yunwu sect's thinking, it is true that everything has luck, but luck is also constantly changing. You may be lucky now, but bad luck will come the next second. It's like, one second you feel that the other person can live a long life, and the next second you feel that the other person is going to die. The explanation given by the Yunwu sect is that luck changes rapidly and nothing is fixed at a certain point. In this way, the fortune-finding technique seems to be unimportant. Anyway, so what if you see it? Just because it's good now doesn't mean it will be good in the future. Lin Moyu was a little messy and felt bad all over. The inherent cognition has been broken, which feels very uncomfortable. His brows furrowed tighter and tighter, and he couldn't figure it out. Master Wu sat on the white clouds and stared at Lin Moyu with his bright eyes. Seeing the change in Lin Moyu's expression, she let out a long sigh and said, "I told you not to come to the Heritage Tower a long time ago. I won't listen. It's okay now, don't hurt yourself." Advertisement. Lin Moyu's thoughts are indeed a little confused. The ideas of Yunwu sect conflict greatly with his original ideas. This is due to his different understanding of the entire world and cannot be reconciled. As his mind kept spinning, Lin Moyu kept telling himself, there must be something in common. Just because I didn't find it doesn't mean there isn't one. As long as you can find the similarities, you can understand why. He vaguely felt that there seemed to be some kind of truth in the Yunwu sect's philosophy. As long as you can understand this truth, you can combine your old concepts with those of the Yunwu sect, so that the two concepts can integrate with each other instead of conflicting with each other. Understanding and absorbing the concepts of the Yunwu sect is the first step. If you can't even do this, let alone comprehending the fortune detection technique. Even if you force yourself to comprehend it, you can only get started at most, and it is impossible to comprehend it to the fullest extent. But what are the similarities? Lin Moyu's head was spinning rapidly, sorting out his entire worldview. This is Chang Haozai's project, and it is very difficult. Time passed day by day. Lin Moyu sat there motionless. At the foot of Yunwu Mountain, Wu Xingzuwen stood there quietly like a sculpture, staring closely at the Inheritance Tower on the top of the mountain. The first floor of the Inheritance Tower is glowing slightly at the moment, which means that Lin Moyu has entered it. Saint Hao feels that Lin Moyu is receiving the inheritance. The time for receiving the inheritance may be long or short. It may be very fast, only a few days. It can also be very slow, perhaps taking years or even decades. Wu Xingzuwen had already prepared for the worst. He was waiting here and watching. He is the Holy Lord, and he can wait for these times. 100 days passed in a blink of an eye, and Lin Moyu's whole body was filled with aura, which showed how magnificent the other waves in his heart were. Please give me flowers. He has completely overturned his memory, integrating and understanding the concepts of Yunwu sect from every experience he has. He simulated in his soul how things that had happened in the past could change if viewed with the Yunwu sect's philosophy. During this period, the soul power was consumed rapidly. Fortunately, there was the World Tree. Advertisement. The World Tree is constantly swaying, and the overly powerful roots absorb huge power from the inexplicable world, all of which are converted into soul power and continuously supplied to Lin Moyu. The World Tree is flowing with golden threads of light, which is the divine power poured out by the divine cauldron, amplifying the power of the World Tree. Turning 1 point of his strength into 10 points, it also allowed Lin Moyu to recover much faster than normal. Since receiving the power of divinity has always existed subtly. It does not usually show up, but its effect is always present. 0. And as the realm improves, the role of divine power also increases. With or without the power of divinity, the recovery effect brought by the World Tree will be completely different. With the support of the World Tree, Lin Moyu consumed soul power wantonly, simulating an event that had happened. Gradually, he got an idea. He finally began to understand the essence of the Yunwu sect's philosophy. The breath that had been tumbling violently for 100 days finally began to turn calm, and Mrs. Lin Tuan showed a smile on her lips. So that's it. He let out a long breath, and then opened his eyes that had been closed for 100 days. There was a burst of light in his eyes, and he finally understood. The so-called changes in luck and changes in everything, their real root lies in cause and effect. He understood the philosophy of the Yunwu sect. Everything in the world is indeed constantly changing. On the surface, it seems that luck is getting better or worse. With good luck, everything will go smoothly for living beings and they can live long. Good luck with objects can keep them around longer. For some special beings, good luck can even give them spiritual intelligence. For example, Red Star Supreme, there are many stars like him, but not many can give birth to spiritual wisdom. The root cause behind good luck lies in cause and effect. Behind the movement of the entire world, there is a hidden deep network that cannot be discovered. That network is called cause and effect. Changes in cause and effect will cause changes in luck. This is the concept of Yunwu sect. The root of Yunwu sect's various techniques on luck is the cause and effect spoon. When Lin Moyu woke up, the first thing he saw was a pair of big bright eyes. Master Wu came to Lin Moyu, and after making sure that Lin Moyu was completely awake, he immediately asked, "You are awake. How are you? Have you learned the fortune-finding technique?" As the artifact spirit of the Inheritance Tower, he is naturally very clear about the things in the Inheritance Tower. From the first to the third floor, you learn the fortune-finding technique. Depending on the degree of control over the fortune-finding technique, you decide whether you can go to the upper level or be eliminated. The worst thing is of course not being able to understand, so just stay here and continue to understand. Either you will succeed in understanding, or you will be kicked out of the Inheritance Tower after being locked up for a certain period of time. Lin Moyu shook his head and said, "Pretend." He told the truth, he really didn't study at all. He has been comprehending the Yunwu sect's philosophy on the world, and fortune-finding techniques are not important. Hearing Lin Muyu's answer, Mr. Wu spread his hands, like an elder lecturing a junior. "I'll just tell you, just let you choose the inheritance of Yunwu Palace from 587. Why do you have to enter the Inheritance Tower? It's okay now. If you can't understand it, just stay locked up. Fortunately, it's only the first floor. It can only be closed for 100 years. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "You don't seem to like me being locked up here." Master Wu snorted, "You are locked up here, and I have to keep an eye on you. It's annoying to watch you." Lin Moyu could feel that this Qiling girl was actually quite kind and had no scheming intentions. She didn't know that if she left, she would fall into a deep sleep. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have said that. Lin Moyu said, "These days, although I have not learned the fortune-finding technique, I have learned something else." Master Wu seemed to be disdainful. "In addition to the fortune-finding technique, what else can I understand?" Lin Moyu said, "It is Yun Zhongzong's philosophy on this world." Advertisement. What? Mr. Wu screamed so hard that his whole body felt like his hair was exploding. "It's impossible, absolutely impossible." Lin Moyu was very curious. Why is it impossible? Because Master Wu was so excited, she drove her white cloud around in the air, and then she said, "I have been here for many, many years, and there are only a total of people who can understand the philosophy of Yunwu sect. The old master said that there are very, very few people who can understand this concept. Everyone has the talent of being a god." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Then why do you think it's impossible for me?" Master Wu snorted, "I think your qualifications are mediocre, and you don't seem to be that smart anyway, so it's naturally impossible." And besides the old master, the other two people realized it after many, many years, at least several thousand years. "How long do you have? How can you possibly realize it?" Lin Moyu realized that 100 days is far from 1,000 years compared to 100 days. Listening to Master Wu's words, Lin Moyu realized that her master was not the Supreme Master, but most likely the Heavenly Master. He thought for a while and said, I can see that you admire your old master very much. Master Wu snorted, don't mention him. Although he is the master and although he is very powerful, I hate him. He is so annoying when he assigns me to do this and that. Lin Moyu thinks this weapon spirit is somewhat interesting. In addition to its autonomous consciousness, even its emotions have nothing to do with the human race. If he had a human body, he could be treated as a human being, which would be much stronger than the formation spirit Xiaojing. Silent Words continued, your old master is indeed very powerful. After all, he is in charge of the entire Yunwu sect's inheritance, and even you are under his control. Although Master Wu kept saying that she didn't like her old master, she still said proudly, that's right, my old master is a Tianzuan. I heard people say that even among the Tianzuan, there are few who are more powerful than my old master. It is indeed Tianzuan. Lin Moyu said secretly in his heart, and continued to ask, Master Wu, what is your master's name? Lord Wu responded naturally, the old man's honorific title is Phantom Thread. Phantom Mist Heavenly Lord. Advertisement. This was the first name of Tianzuan that Lin Moyu heard, and he remembered it firmly. At this time, Master Wu continued, don't talk nonsense. You said that you have understood the philosophy of Yunwu sect. Then tell me, what is the philosophy of Xuanzong? Don't try to lie to me. The old master told me some things about the Yunwu sect. Although I didn't quite understand them, I remembered them all. I have a very good memory. No matter how many years go by, I will never forget it. Lin Moyu thought for a while and said calmly, because of the truth. Master Shi screamed fiercely and flew up again on Bai Yun, looking extremely excited. She flew around, and it took a while before she calmed down. You actually realized it, understood everything? Lin Moyu hummed, I almost understand it, but there are still some fine points that need to be sorted out. Master Wu's eyes were extremely complicated. The old master once said that it took him more than 100 years to understand. It only took you 100 days. Are you smarter than the old master? If you really realize it, then you really have a chance to reach the top and get the supreme inheritance. When the time comes, you will become their new master. You must first promise them that you will not bully them then. Master Wu, who was still aloof just now, suddenly turned into a weak little woman and began to plead. That pitiful look made Lin Moyu feel like a bad uncle. Lin Moyu smiled and said, why are you bullying you? No matter what the result is, I will tell you in the end what happened in these years. Mr. Wu made a sound and stepped away from the distance. Then you can continue, I won't disturb you anymore. Lin Moyu sat down again, closed his eyes, his breath quickly calmed down, and he entered the state of understanding again. He did realize it, but there were still many details to sort out. My old worldview was shattered, and a new worldview began to be established. The soul opened its eyes and began to murmur to itself. Advertisement. The sound is like thunder, resounding in the soul world. At this moment, the soul rose with a terrifying aura, extremely majestic. Cause and effect. BB. Virtual reality. Positive and negative. Everything in the world is divided into reality and reality, pros and cons. The same is true for laws. There are laws that represent reality, and there are also laws that represent emptiness. Why? Cause and effect are virtual laws, and the laws of fate are also virtual laws. They are hidden behind the world and are the virtual side of the entire world. Although invisible and inaudible, they are real and can still be understood. As long as you use the right method, you can touch them. 5.9. Compared with the laws of virtual categories, the laws of real categories can be touched and felt. Even if there is nothingness like the laws of time and space, they are actually the laws of real categories. Holy Saint Hao's law of virtual realm, although it is a virtual word, is actually a real law. The law of virtuality is like a large invisible net, covering the entire world secretly and affecting the entire world. They affect the whole body with a single move. Relatively speaking, the laws of real types have a smaller impact. The soul talks to itself, and every sentence resounds through the soul world like thunder. As he talked more and more, his understanding of the entire world became clearer. The integration of the former worldview and the philosophy of the Yunwu sect allowed Lin Moyu to see the world more clearly and thoroughly. The realm of the soul also began to improve dramatically at this moment. The soul has entered the state of enlightenment. Lin Moyu's soul has improved once since reaching the other side realm, but the improvement is not large. It is still at the elementary peak of the other side realm, one step away from the middle level. The soul realm of the other shore realm can be divided into 3 stages: junior high, middle school, and high school. The soul of the Holy Lord is all in the advanced stage of the other shore realm. The higher the realm, the further the difference is with each level difference. Therefore, in ancient times, ordinary people from the other side could only be used as cannon fodder, while the Holy Lord could become the main force. In fact, the other shore realm and the Holy Master are both the same realm. After Lin Moyu clearly understood the nature of the world, he established a new world view, and his soul also entered the state of enlightenment. The soul realm crossed the boundary between elementary and intermediate levels on the other side almost in the blink of an eye. After reaching the intermediate level on the other side, the momentum became more intense and continued to soar. Lin Moyu didn't know his situation at all at this moment. When he entered the state of enlightenment, his thoughts were running rapidly, and he was constantly comprehending new views on the world. All the principles and possibilities of existence in the world gathered together in Lin Moyu's mind. Gradually, he began to understand how to build a rules world. Why is there such a big gap between the Holy Lords who are both in the other side realm and have rules? I also know the difference between the rule world of the Supreme Realm and the rule world of the Saint Realm. His experiences in the past played a great role at this moment and became Lin Moyu's accumulation. All knowledge is integrated at this moment. The realm of the soul continues to improve, approaching the Holy Lord. The world tree also became stronger with Lin Moyu's blessing. The world tree is Lin Moyu's talent. The two are interdependent and mutually beneficial. Lin Moyu's soul enlightenment also brought great benefits to world tree. On the branch, the fastest growing fruit of the world was nourished and began to mature. The fruit of the world becomes plump and red, exuding an attractive luster, and a faint aroma spreads from the fruit. Advertisement. At this time, Lin Moyu's soul realm is only one step away from the other side realm. Enlightenment is coming to an end, and the aura of enlightenment has gradually softened and begun to fade. At this time, the soul smelled the fragrance of the fruit of the world, and the soul was blessed. Lin Moyu stretched out his hand and took the fruit of the world in his hand. Then, the multicolored water rolled out, and thousands of drops of multicolored water came pouring into the fruit of the world. The power of faith is also burning brightly, and the power of tens of millions of faiths is also integrated into the fruit of the world in an instant. The effect of this ripe fruit of the world has been doubled. The colorful light becomes colorful, affected by the colorful water, and all kinds of light can be found on it. Lin Moyu's soul showed a satisfied look, and he was about to take the fruit of the world. Suddenly, the Earthwang Emperor in the technique, the high-ranking, infinite fusion, technique star flew down, and the hazy light of the sun hit it. Above the world. All the colors disappeared in an instant, replaced by a hazy chaotic color. Lin Moyu can't describe what kind of color this is. It is exactly the same as infinite fusion. Law of chaos. The soul, which is still at the end of the state of enlightenment, has sharper thinking than usual. Lin Moyu understood almost instantly that this strange color only belonged to the law of chaos. In his new worldview, laws can be divided into 2 categories, virtual and real. But the law of chaos is between virtuality and reality, both virtuality and reality. After Tuwang Emperor blew out a breath, he returned to his 33rd heaven, still high above, looking down on all living beings in the world. This is the real boss. Lin Moyu muttered a sentence and drank the fruit of the world. The fruit of the world can be taken by the body or by the soul, and the effect is exactly the same. The fruit of the world exploded, and the entire soul world began to roar loudly. Advertisement. Terrible power emerged out of thin air, setting off a storm in the soul world. The power of rules. Lin Moyu felt this power and realized that this was the rule of the other side. The world of rules is constructed by the power of rules. After the power of rules appears, the first step is to rush to the soul. It gives the soul the final push, pushing the soul into the realm of the other side of the world. The soul has become a saint. Lin Moyu suddenly understood that only a soul in the saint realm can withstand the world of rules. The power of the fruit of the world is far from exhausted, and the power of a large number of rules continues to set off a violent storm in the soul world. The originally huge soul world became larger and larger, driven by the storm. The purple jade barrier sparkled and became stronger and stronger. In the blink of an eye, the soul world became 10 times larger. At this time, Lin Moyu finally understood what the prototype of the world of rules was. It turns out that the world of rules is the sublimation of the world of souls. With the soul world as the core, evolve the world of rules. If the soul is not strong enough, it will not be able to afford the world of rules. But in addition to the soul, physical strength is equally important. The purple gold body burst out with golden light at this moment, and the power of the physical body was connected with the world of rules, further increasing the power area of the world of rules. The prototype of the rules world was formed, the whole world was extremely empty, and the magic white stars became the stars in the rules world. Lin Moyu's soul, together with the world tree, became the center of this world of rules. The entire world of rules can be freely controlled according to Lin Moyu's wishes. He can generate continents and turn the entire rule world into a vast continent. You can also create stars, make stars, and turn them into a galaxy. Advertisement. Lin Moyu thought about it and decided to use the big world as a template to build his own rule world. However, this can only be done after he returns to the big world. In Tianzuan's world of rules, it is unrealistic to build his own world of rules. The necessary laws cannot be sensed here. And Lin Moyu knew that when he returned to the real world, there would be a huge baptism waiting for him. Unexpectedly, one enlightenment actually allowed me to build the prototype of a world of rules. I really don't know, am I considered a god or a saint now? Lin Moyu thought about it. I am afraid that he has never seen this kind of special situation in ancient times. When they get out, Saint Hao will probably be shocked. Don't think too much, it's time to understand the fortune-finding technique. Lin Moyu officially began to understand the fortune-finding technique. The fortune-finding technique is not complicated and Lin Moyu can master it easily. Especially now, after understanding that the essence of luck exploration is the law of cause and effect, it is easier to learn. The fortune-finding technique only evokes a trace of the law of cause and effect to detect other people's current luck. The law of cause and effect is elusive and difficult to comprehend, but it has nothing to do with fortune-seeking. Lin Moyu does not need to understand the law of cause and effect, he only needs to master the fortune-finding technique and learn to use the fortune-finding technique. It's like the Buddha's voyeurism technique in the Buddhist country, which evokes a trace of the law of destiny. He does not need to understand the laws of destiny, he only needs to be able to use the art of seeing the truth. With Lin Moyu's ability, it is not difficult to master the fortune-finding technique. After a while, he understood the true meaning of fortune-finding and could use it. The mist that had been sucked into the soul before also condensed and took shape at this moment, turning into a magic planet. Compared with other magic white stars, this newly born magic planet is pitifully small. The magic planet is 10%, which means that Lin Moyu has mastered the fortune exploration technique. And relying on his own understanding of the law of cause and effect, the virtual and real world, and the soul of the saint realm. Just after mastering the luck exploration technique, the fusion degree reached over 50%. The next step is to increase the fusion degree, so that its fusion degree reaches 99%. Because it is an acquired technique, under normal circumstances, it is impossible to achieve 100% fusion, 99% is the limit. The world tree droops its branches, and a large amount of soul power is injected into the magic planet. The magic planet suddenly began to rotate rapidly, and the degree of fusion continued to increase. Lin Moyu's current soul is too strong, and his insights are enough to push the fortune detection technique to 99%. Outside, Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes. This time, Mr. Wu, who was a little cute, looked at Lin Moyu from a distance and did not get closer. There seemed to be a hint of fright in her expression. Lin Moyu asked strangely, "What's wrong with you?" Master Wu murmured, "You were very scary just now." Lin Moyu was in a state of enlightenment just now and did not know the condition of his physical body, so he could only shake his head to express his ignorance. Master Wu said cautiously, "You have cultivated into a purple gold body, and you just realized enlightenment, and you established a world of rules, right? As the artifact spirit of the Inheritance Tower, it has existed for who knows how many years. The number of strong men in ancient times must have been much greater than now. Lord Wu must have seen a lot of the other shore, the Holy Lord, and the Supreme Being. Although she seems a little confused, she also understands many things that need to be understood." Advertisement. Moreover, Huan Wu Tianzuan obviously treats her well. If Huan Wu Tianzuan gives a sermon, she will most likely be able to listen to it. Therefore, neither the purple gold body, enlightenment, nor the world of rules can be hidden from her. Lin Moyu also admitted openly, "Master Wu is very smart and is right." Lord Wu snorted, "Of course I am smart, but how could you be like this?" She rushed to Lin Moyu, flew around Lin Moyu in circles, looked at him again and again. "You are God, and you have completed the purple gold body. You are already very powerful. But you can still achieve enlightenment. The old master said that there is only one person in billions who can achieve enlightenment. This is a great opportunity. Forget it, but how can you establish a world of rules? You are not a saint. Master Wu seems to have no city, so he doesn't know that there are some questions that he cannot ask." Lin Moyu didn't care. "I might be lucky." Lord Wu obviously didn't believe it. "Is it so easy for me to lie to you? If you don't want to say something, just say it. What's the big deal? You have gained enlightenment. You should have mastered the art of detecting clouds. You can start to break through the levels." Lin Moyu asked, "Please ask the important person to elaborate on how to break through." Although Lord Wu is a bit squeamish, he still dare not go too far towards Lin Moyu, a guy who is very likely to become his new master. She followed the rules and pointed to the stone tablet deep in the space. "Just use the fortune-finding technique on it. He will send you to the corresponding floor based on your mastery of the fortune-finding technique." Lin Moyu hummed, "Thank you, Mr. Fu." Walking into the depths, he waved to the stone tablet and used the fortune-finding technique. A number appeared on the stone tablet, 50. At the same time, a color that only he could see appeared on the stone tablet, green. In fortune-finding, the person with the highest luck is 100, which is red. That means good luck, everything you do will go smoothly, and all your wishes will come true. If it is 50 and it is green, it is ordinary luck and unpredictable. Maybe the simple things will be successful and the difficult things will fail. Advertisement. If the value is lower than 25 and appears gray, then your luck is quite bad. If you encounter some danger at this time, death is not impossible. Luck is such a vague thing, and it is deeply connected to the law of cause and effect, which is really elusive. Before understanding the law of cause and effect, Lin Moyu could only know what was happening, but not why. Anyway, no matter what, I can fully master the technique. A few seconds later, the steel bloomed and enveloped Lin Moyu. The picture in front of him rippled like water waves, and Lin Moyu felt like he had experienced a brief teleportation. Until his vision returned to normal, Lin Moyu saw the adults again. Master Wu said in surprise, "You have completely mastered it." Before Lin Moyu could speak, she said to herself, "Yes, you have already understood the Tao. You have even understood the concepts of the Yunwu sect, so what does fortune-finding mean?" Lin Moyu asked, "Master Wu, have I reached the 4th floor?" Lord Wu hummed, "It's still the same old rules. The fog you understand is in the middle." "The rules have not changed." Lin Moyu came to the middle again. Soul communicated with the mist, and began a new understanding. At the foot of Yumu Mountain, Wu Xingzuan saw the second, third, and fourth floors of the Inheritance Tower light up at the same time. He couldn't help clenching his fists and shouted, "Okay!" The changes in the Inheritance Tower also attracted the attention of the ancestors in the village. "Oh my God, he has entered the inheritance. Not only did we go in, we also reached the fourth floor." Someone said with disdain, "You speak as if you know the rules of the Heritage Tower." "TCH, I don't know the rules, but being able to reach the fourth floor is definitely unusual. I have hundreds of granddaughters and thousands of great-granddaughters, all of whom can marry him. It's as if I don't have a granddaughter. I can marry my granddaughter." A bunch of old guys became shameless, and the young people of the country could only retreat. Advertisement. These old guys in the village all want to marry their granddaughters to Lin Moyu. The total number of these granddaughters is estimated to be tens of thousands. Wu Xingzuan's eyebrows jumped when he heard this. How can these old guys be so thick-skinned? I seem to have a few great-granddaughters. 1. On the fourth floor of the Inheritance Tower, Lin Moyu used his soul to communicate with the mist. The mist entered the soul world again and directly found the trapped planet where cloud detection technique is located. At the same time, Lin Moyu also received the spell information. The difficulty of this spell is much more difficult than luck exploration technique. It is not a new technique, but an ascension based on the fortune detection technique. The technique is called luck control technique, and its function can control luck, such as improving luck or reducing luck. It has an effect on both yourself and others. It's just that the degree of control varies from person to person. Some people can increase it from 50 to 80, while some people can only increase it to 60 or even 55. The same is true for reduced luck, and reduced luck is also caused by light. The luck affected by luck control technique is only temporary and will disappear after a certain period of time. The duration of the effect is related to the strength of the caster. You can actually control luck. Lin Moyu was slightly surprised, but he thought of the mysterious power in the Yunwu Mountain test. Didn't that mysterious power suppress his luck? Manipulating luck involves more laws of cause and effect, which should be restricted and cannot be used casually. If you face a person with particularly strong luck and suppress his luck, you might get a backlash. There is no explicit explanation in the technique, but Lin Moyu analyzed some information based on his superficial understanding of the law of cause and effect. Luck control technique, like the virtual and real world, has two sides and cannot be used casually. Used well, it is a sharp blade for killing enemies. If used incorrectly, it will kill you.